Tom and Claire had the kind of marriage everyone admired. High school sweethearts, they were partners in every sense, sharing everything from their dreams for the future to their favorite late-night snacks. Tom was steady, dependable, and loyal to a fault, while Claire was ambitious, warm, and driven. Together, they had built a life filled with love and laughter, supporting each other through college, their first jobs, and every challenge along the way. As Claire's career in corporate soared, small, nearly invisible cracks began to form in the foundation of their marriage. Tom worked in finance, a stable, predictable job that allowed him to be home for dinner every night. Claire, however, had landed a high-paying role at a rapidly expanding tech company, a position that demanded long hours, frequent travel, and an exhausting schedule. Tom encouraged her to chase her dreams, even when it meant missed dinners and late nights. He told himself it didn't bother him. He wanted her to succeed. One Friday evening, Claire came home much later than usual, the faint smell of wine clinging to her clothes. She stumbled in, laughing softly to herself, her cheeks flushed. Tom, sitting in the living room with a book, looked up as she entered. "Hey, you okay?" he asked, setting his book down. Claire grinned and dismissed his concern with a wave. "Oh, we just had a team happy hour. Didn't realize it had gotten so festive," she said, planting a quick kiss on his cheek. But Tom couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Claire had always been an open book, yet lately she seemed more guarded. Her answers had become shorter, vaguer. Over the following weeks, her absences grew more frequent. Work dinners, late meetings, and weekend team-building trips became the norm. Tom, though worried, convinced himself he was overreacting. He wanted to trust her. New Year's Eve approached, and Tom planned a quiet night at home. Just the two of them, with champagne and the warmth of their shared memories. But that morning, Claire announced she had been invited to an office party at her boss Mark's mansion. "It's a fantastic networking opportunity," she explained, eyes sparkling with excitement. "Everyone from work will be there. It's a big deal, you understand, right?" Tom's stomach churned. He had met Mark before, a confident man who commanded attention. Well regarded at the company, yes, but Tom couldn't ignore the way Mark's gaze lingered on Claire at events. Still, he pushed the feeling aside. "Of course, I understand," Tom replied, forcing a smile. He offered to join her, but Claire insisted it was employees only. As midnight approached, Tom sat alone, listening to the distant sounds of celebration from neighboring homes. He tried calling Claire, but there was no answer. Midnight came and went. At 2 a.m., his phone buzzed, a text from Claire. "Just leaving now. Had too much champagne, but Mark is giving me a ride home. See you soon. Love you." Tom's heart sank. Mark was driving her home at 2 in the morning. Something about the text felt wrong. When Claire finally arrived, visibly tipsy and laughing as she fumbled with her keys, she collapsed onto the couch with a vague apology. Tom looked at her, a hollow ache forming in his chest. In the weeks that followed, his suspicions deepened. Claire seemed distant, distracted. Late-night texting became frequent. One evening, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed. Tom glanced at the screen. Mark's name. A wave of nausea swept over him. Against his better judgment, he unlocked the phone. What he found shattered him. Messages, flirty, suggestive, exchanged for weeks. Inside jokes, late-night meetups, even Claire's occasional miss you texts. And then, the one that broke him completely. "Last night was amazing. Let's do it again soon." Tom put the phone down, his hands trembling. Claire, the woman he had loved and trusted, had been sneaking around with her boss. He couldn't believe it. A cold resolve washed over him. Claire had made her choices. Now it was time for him to make his. Instead of confronting her, he planned his departure meticulously. He opened a separate bank account, quietly transferring funds. He began moving his belongings out of the house, placing them in storage. He wanted it to seem as though he had vanished overnight, leaving her with nothing but regret. On the final night, he printed screenshots of the messages, placed them in an envelope on the kitchen counter, and set his wedding ring beside them. A short note, carefully written. "I know everything. Goodbye." Before leaving, he took down their photos, the wedding pictures, the vacation snapshots, every trace of their shared life. He wanted the house to feel as empty as he did inside. New Year's Eve arrived, exactly 1 year after the night Claire had gone to Mark's party. She had another late work event, which gave Tom the perfect window to leave. As soon as she was gone, he locked the door behind him for the last time. Taking one final glance at the home they had built together, he felt a strange mix of sorrow and grim satisfaction. Then he walked away. Claire returned around midnight, expecting to find Tom asleep. Instead, she was met with silence. The house felt cold, lifeless. Her heart pounded as she looked around, confusion quickly giving way to dread. The shelves were empty, the rooms hollow. Then, her eyes landed on the envelope on the counter. With trembling hands, she opened it. The screenshots spilled onto the counter. Tears blurred her vision as she read the messages, the painful evidence of her betrayal. She grabbed her phone, dialing Tom's number, but every call went straight to voicemail. She left message after message, pleading for forgiveness, begging him to talk to her. But Tom had severed every tie. Days turned into weeks. The affair with Mark dissolved quickly. He had never been interested in anything serious. With her personal life in ruins, Claire felt the crushing weight of her choices. The loneliness was suffocating. Meanwhile, Tom rebuilt his life. A new city, a fresh start. Friends and family surrounded him, offering support. Every so often, he heard from mutual friends about Claire, how she was struggling, how she had lost more than she had ever anticipated. But Tom felt no pity, only relief. Months later, Claire reached out one last time. She poured her heart into a letter filled with apologies, regrets, and a plea to meet. Tom read the letter, his heart steady. He had already moved on. His peace was restored. In his final response, he left her with one simple line. "I loved you once, but I love myself enough to leave you behind." Sometimes walking away is the only justice.